Hey everyone, this is Jake with The Verge, and we're taking a look at Xiaomi's Mi Mix, which is this insane phone that I'm holding right here, which as you can see has a display covering almost the entire front of it. Xiaomi is calling this a concept phone, which is because it is supposed to try out new ideas, but obviously it is not a concept phone because I'm holding it right here and it works, and it's actually even on sale in China right now. The phone has a 6.4-inch display with a 2040 by 1080 resolution. That's a little bit over 1080p because it actually has a 17:9 aspect ratio, which is a little bit wider than usual. It looks really cool though in effect. The size of the phone still ends up being pretty big, even though there's almost no bezel just because it's a 6.4-inch display. But if you're already okay with big phones, then you might not mind it. This is the iPhone 7 Plus, which has a 5.5-inch display, and you can see it is just a tiny bit smaller than the Mi Mix is, even though it has about an inch less display on it, which is pretty crazy. If you're somebody like me though, who's used to tinier phones, then you're still not gonna be able to handle this very easily. The Mi Mix has a ceramic body that feels and looks fantastic, at least until you notice just how bad it is at picking up fingerprints. This thing gets disgusting pretty quickly, and there's almost nothing you can do about it but put on a case. Fortunately, Xiaomi includes one with it, which is kind of okay. It removes the effect of the edge-to-edge display a little bit, which is sort of a bummer, but at least it covers up all the gross fingerprints. The specs on this thing are basically as high-end as you're gonna get. It has a Snapdragon 821 processor, 4 gigabytes of RAM, 128 gigabytes of internal storage. If you pay more, there's actually a higher-end version with 6 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of high-end storage. The version also has gold plating around the fingerprint sensor on back and around the camera. As you can see, we unfortunately do not have that version in, but that sounds awesome at the very least. Both versions of this camera have a 16 megapixel rear sensor and a 5 megapixel front facing sensor, which is maybe the only low end thing about this otherwise ludicrous phone. But you're probably not gonna be paying attention to the quality that much because the selfie mode actually has this ridiculous and maybe slightly offensive feature where it tries to guess whether you're male or female and how old you are. We've seen it get both of these things very wrong on all of our tests basically. So it's kind of fun in some circumstances, but also just like probably a really terrible idea. The Mi Mix is on sale right now in China. You can get it elsewhere, but it is expensive. I saw it for like $800 or so online. And the bigger problem is that its cell networks are designed to be used in China, so you're not really gonna be able to get full functionality out of it everywhere else. Even though this isn't getting a kind of wide release like that though, it is still wild to see Xiaomi toying with an idea like this. Concept phones and mock-ups have been trying to get that edge-to-edge-to-edge display thing going for years now, and it is wild to see a company finally make one that gets really close to that. I'm 22 years, it's fluctuating between 21 and 22 years old. It says that I'm a male, which it did not always get correct earlier, but it has my age way off. Let's see, Mark, it sees your face, but it doesn't have a guess. Does it have a guess for you yet?